Welcome back, children. So today our topic of discussion will be variables, constants, and data types. You see, huge names, but it isn't that difficult in Turbo C++. It's just a slight modification of already whatever you have learned. Let's see what are this. We are going to try to understand what are this, and then I'm going to share my screen for my computer through which we'll be able to learn it in Turbo C++. But first of all, we need to understand what are these, that is variables, constants, and data types. Okay, so first of all, what we are going to do is we are going to understand what variables are. So here it is, a variable is basically like a container, where data can be stored. And this container is contained in where? In which particular place of the computer? Inside the memory of the computer. That is, to be very precise, inside the RAM of the computer. That is, the data is temporary in nature. So all the variables which you are going to store will be inside the RAM of the computer. So like you can see over here, what is the definition of variables? A variable is a name given to a memory location that can contain a data value. So for any data that you need to store inside the RAM, inside the memory of the computer, of course temporarily, you will be using variables. So that is what a variable is. So you can imagine a variable to be like a container inside the RAM. So here what I have done out here is I have taken a glass to indicate that it's a variable. Now let its name be A. So let the name of this container, the name be A. Now what I am going to do is I'm going to store, you can see on the right hand side of your screen there is a number called 25. What I want to do is I want to store this number 25 inside the container A, that is inside this glass. So what we do is we can simply store it out there. You can see 25 lying down inside the container named A. Now what does that mean? Now here is the meaning of it. You see, in C++, how do we write that? You can see the first line over there, int A. What it means is, I'm telling Turbo C++, please take a container whose name is A. And what does that int refer to? Int means that it is a container that can store only integer type data, that is numbers without point. That is 25, 36, like that. And look at the second line. In second line, what do we have? I am storing the number 25 inside that container A. So all this storing should be done from right hand side to left hand side. Whatever content is there on the right hand side will get stored into the container on the left hand side. So that is how it works. And remember, in Turbo C++, every line ends with a semicolon. So that is must. Now you see, in Turbo C++, whenever you use variables, like here I've used a variable A, it needs to be declared. So I'll come across that later. But first of all, these two lines can also be written in this particular manner. You see, look at the shortcut. I'm just merging these two lines. int A equal to 25. What I have done is I am declaring the variable A. That is, I am telling C++ that please take a variable named A. That is, please take a container inside your memory and name it as A, and there what am I storing? 25. This is simply another shortcut method of writing it. You can write it together that way, but both are valid completely. Now look at that. int A is basically a declaration. So in Turbo C++, we call it a declaration. Declaration is a method of telling Turbo C++ that this is a container that can store this type of variable. So what type of variable? Here we can store integer type of variable. There are other types also. I'm going to discuss that later. But first of all, please try to understand what we do. So before using a variable, before using a container, I need to tell Turbo C++ that this container is supposed to store this type of data. Hence, we have int and then followed by the variable name, that is A. That is, I'm telling Turbo C++ that it's going to store only integer type data. Now look at that in the next line. In the next line, what do we have? Assign 25 to A. So that means give the value of 25 to A. So this is called assigning. Okay. So what does it called? It is called assigning. That means I'm assigning the value of 25 to A. So that is how it works. And look at this, int A equal to 25. Though the effect is same, you see, though the effect is same, int A equal to 25, However, we do not call it declaration and then assigning. Here we call it initialization. That means assigning initial value during declaration is called initialization. So that is how initialization is happening. That means when you are telling C++ that please take a variable named A, that means please take a container named A which can store integer type data. Along with that, I am telling and then store 25 into that container. So this is what is happening over here. So I believe you understood the difference between declaration, assigning and initialization. Now let's see what else we have. You see now this is in a more elaborate way I'm explaining what is the meaning of this. Say int a equal to 25. What does it mean? Int is called data type. From now onwards you have to remember these technical names. Data type is to tell C++ what type of data a variable will be storing. So here the variable a is a container, and what type of value it can store? It can store integer type data, that is int type data. And then what do we have? We have 25, and 25 technically is called constant. Constants are values that are stored in variables. So constants will always be certain value which can be stored into a variable, and it will always be on the right hand side of a variable of equal to, naturally. And here comes the difference between variable and container. You can see there are two boxes. The variable box is open at the top end and the constant is a closed one. I think you can understand the reason behind this. Variable is a container and constant is the data or certain material which can be stored inside this container. So here comes the difference. Value of the variable can be changed anytime during the execution of the program. Hence the name variable, because it can always be changed. So if a is 25, in the next line if you write a equal to 10, it will replace the value 25 with 10. How interesting, isn't it? And here when it comes to constant, constant is a fixed value. It's a number. It cannot change. So 25 is 25. When you write 17, so 25 is no longer there. It's 17. It has nothing to do with the previous 25. However, you should keep certain rules while naming variables. What are the rules? Look at the first rule. The first letter of a variable name must be an alphabet. So please remember that the first letter of a variable name should be an alphabet. It cannot be a digit. So it can also be an underscore. You can see underscore is also allowed. Example A, and then we have AB. That can be a name of a variable. So don't think that only alphabets are there. You can have A, you can have AB, you can have A underscore B. That is perfectly valid. So a variable name should always begin with a letter, isn't it? So I believe you can understand. Or it can also start with an underscore. You can see over there the underscore, a small dash you can see at the bottom. And then what do we have? Variable can also contain letter, digits and underscores. So that means you can have digits but only after the letters. So here you can see few examples: A1, B15, SI, CP. So you see the variables can have only letters, digits and underscores. No other symbols can be used. Please remember that. Don't put a dot to represent C.P, cost price. Don't do that. You cannot use any other symbol other than letters and digits, and the variable name should begin with a letter, that is an alphabet. White space is not allowed. In computing, please remember space means blank space. So you cannot have a blank space in the middle of a variable. Please remember that. Next, what do we have? Keywords cannot be used as variables. Now you see, slowly we are going to learn different, keywords. Keywords are reserved words which has certain meanings in C++. Basically, they are commands. So these commands cannot be used as variables. You have come across already different, keywords in Turbo C++, like include, remember, void. So here you can see a few examples I have given: int, float, if, switch, case, break. All these keywords we are going to learn in class 6 itself. Remember that. And this cannot be used as variables. You can use something else, it doesn't matter. And look at the last point. That is very, very important. You should keep that in mind completely. Since C++ is case sensitive language. Now what does case sensitive means? It means it differentiates between capital letter and small letter. So what does it tell? A variable name written in uppercase will differ from lowercase. So it can differentiate. So it will differentiate a variable written in capital letter or written in small letter. For example, if I have a variable int a where a is in capital, it will be completely different if you write int small a. So please remember that they are considered two different variables. And finally, let me tell you about different data types. Different data types that you can use in C++. These are the common ones, though this is a very long list in Turbo C++, but I'm giving you a short one which we are going to use at least in the class where you are in currently. So here C++ uses data types. Look at the definition of data types to identify data and dictates the method of handling it. So what is this data type? It is to tell the computer that this type of data, that is whether it is integer or whether it is a number with point, it's going to store that kind of number and it's going to manipulate those numbers. So data type is exactly used to tell what kind of data a variable is going to store. So here you see a few common ones which we are going to use. So first one you can see int, which we have already come across. It is used to store numbers without a point. And you see that range. What does range means? Range means the range of numbers that you can store. So the smallest possible number that you can store is minus 32768. That is 32,768 negative to positive 32767. Long. The next data type you can see it's long. So long is actually, you can imagine it to be the elder brother of int. That means it can store much more longer numbers. So that you can see in the range. Look at the range. That's a whooping huge number. Have you noticed that? It's negative 214,748,3648. Such a small number. And what is the largest possible number? 214,748,3647. So such a big positive number it can store. And then what do we have? We have float. Now float is used to store decimal numbers. That is a number with a point. And what is the smallest possible number it can store? It can store, the smallest possible number that it can store is 3.5 into 10 to the power of minus 38. And what is the largest possible number it can store? 3.4 into 10 to the power of positive 38. And next we have double. Again, double is the elder brother of float. So float can store numbers with point and double can store also numbers with point but larger numbers. So over here, what is the range? 1.7 into 10 to the power minus 308. Oh my God. Can you imagine that? Such a small number with decimal point, and the largest possible number is 1.7 into 10 to the power 308. Now, let me tell you something. You can imagine, float and double. Float, of course, float is the smaller brother or the younger brother of double, no doubt regarding it. You can think it this way. Float can store after point maximum 7 digits. That means after point precisely it can store maximum 7 digits. And for double, it can store maximum 15 digits. So when it comes to precision, when you want perfect answers with decimal point, you go for double. If the answer you require is not so much required to be precise, then we can go for float. However, 7 places of decimal is quite precise. So most of your work with point you will do with float, and similarly most of the work which you do with integer, you can do it with int. Though for larger numbers, longer numbers, you have to use long. But longer doesn't mean that you can have a number of infinite size. You must be remembering the range. You see, what is the range of int, long, float, and double? You cannot cross beyond it. After that, if you give a longer number beyond that, it won't be able to store it correctly. So it stores all nonsense over there instead of the correct number. Next, there is one more data type. You can see it at the last line. What is the data type char? There is one more data type, char. So char is used to store characters. Characters means alphabets, and then we have different symbols, all sorts of things. So here you can see example char a. A is the name of the variable. It can be in capital, it can be in small letter, though both are different from each other. And equal to, what did I store? I stored the letter T. Have you noticed that? You can see over there the letter T, capital T, I am storing it. However, have you noticed something? That a character constant, you see on the right hand side, it's always a constant. A character constant should always be enclosed within quotes. Have you noticed that? Yes. So you have to keep that in mind. When it comes to numbers, you don't require quotes. However, when you use characters, character constants will always require quotes, and the quotes are single quote, and inside a character variable you can simply store just one value. You cannot store multiple characters. For that, you will require something else called arrays, which we'll do later on. Currently, you need to understand only one thing, that is to store a character, that is an alphabet or a digit or any symbol like greater than, less than, at the rate symbol. We require a character variables, and character constants are always enclosed within single quote. You have to keep that in mind. Now I'm going to show you the working on my computer. Okay, now let me show you how to work with variables inside a program. You can see I've opened up Turbo C++ of my computer, and we are going to learn how to use variables. Say for example, I'm going to add two numbers, say 7 and 8, using variables. So how do I do that? So look at this, int, because 7 and 8 are integers, a comma b. Let me take two variables a and b. And here what I do, a equal to 7. So what am I doing? I'm assigning 7 to a, and then b equal to 8. What am I doing? I'm assigning 8 to b. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add these two numbers, that is 7 and 8, and store it inside C. I'll take another variable. So here I'm going to declare one more variable, comma C. So I have declared, have you noticed that I have declared three variables, a, b and c. And what am I going to do? C equal to a plus b. What am I doing? I'm adding a and b. Have you noticed that? On the right hand side, I am adding the numbers and storing it to the container or variable on the left hand side. So C equal to a plus b. You cannot write it opposite way, a plus b equal to c. No. It's only from right hand side, it can be stored into the left hand side variable. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to display the value of the variable c. Okay, now let me see what is the resultant, or what is the answer to this. Okay, it's compiling, there is no error, and then you can see the answer, that is 15. I believe you can see that it's at the top corner. So we get the result as 15. Now what we are going to do is we are going to modify this a bit more. That is, what we are going to do this time is I'm going to give a proper message, that is sum equal to, and then we'll use a cascading symbol C. Remember, variable names are never enclosed within quotation. If you enclose within quotation, instead of printing the value or the content of the variable, it will print the variable itself. So here I'm going to show you what is the resultant. So here you can see the answer, sum equal to 15. So that is how the computer is going to display me the answer. Now let me tell you certain aspects of this. I can declare each variables in separate lines. So I can even do that, int b. Similarly, I can write over there as int c. I can always do that. I'll compile this program, of course. Let me put a semicolon here. Okay, I'll compile this program and you'll see it will work perfectly fine and give me the same answer. No doubt regarding it. So you can always do it this way. So you are still getting the same answer, that is sum equal to 15. So now no doubt regarding it, you are still going to get the same answer. And similarly, you can initialize during declaration, that is a equal to 7 and then b equal to 8, and then like that you can declare it, or you can do it even in the same line using comma as separators. So b equal to 8, and then when it comes to c, we are simply going to write comma c. And then what does it mean? I don't require these two lines, so I'm going to remove these two lines, and then we can still work. It is still going to work the same way. And remember, when it comes to floating point numbers, we have to use float instead of int. I'll give you a small example where what I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply 2.2 with 3. So 2.2, I can use a float type variable. So float a equal to 2.2, and I'll take another variable of integer type, and I can store 3 out there. Now keep in mind, I'm going to multiply 2.2 with 3. When I do that, when you multiply 2.2 with 3, Since one of the number is in point, the other one is not in point, when you multiply, naturally you'll get the answer in point, or there is always a possibility to get the answer in point. So we'll not take C as integer, we'll take C as float type. Although we can take all three variables as float type, because float has the ability to store both numbers with decimal point as well as numbers without point. And here what I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply B with A. So A into, let me just make this into B, and let's see. Okay, I'll print the message as product. So that is what I'm going to do, and let's see what is the result. And there you can see the product is equal to 6.6, that is 2.2 into 3, so we get 6.6. So that's how the entire thing works. I believe all of you understood this, and all the concepts are clear. Repeatedly go through the video in case you do not find things to be clear, and try out these programs on your computer. Even if you don't have a computer, no problem with it, you can still work it out on your copy. And whatever assignment I give, please do it in your copy, and make sure you write the date and everything, all details, you keep it over there. And all the corrections which I do, please do the corrections in your copy. Do not be lazy, and you will see that it will simply be a breeze learning computing, learning how to program. It's much more interesting than most of the subjects whatever you have come across so far. It's very, very interesting, and you'll find a lot of things you'll be able to build slowly. So thank you very much. I believe all of you understood this, and do solve the assignment. Thanks.